Ladies and gentlemen, it's good to be back. How are you all out there? It's Monday night's episode of Nights with Ping. We have a whole heap of stories out of the UK, America, Australia. It is a global show tonight. But let me say hello to everyone first. Hey DJ, good to see you. What does he say? In Austin, it's going to be about 35 degrees. We'll have fun with that. Yeah, I like the cold. Give me the cold. Hey Angela, how are you? Or Angela, or Gayla, how are you? Um, who else do we have? Laurie, my friend Laurie says Pete Rose passed away. I don't know who that is. Uh, Sad to hear that though. Wendy R, good to see you. Sherry's here. Marilyn Landers and Rachel is here tonight. All right, all right. Let's go to the first story. I have one out of Dayton, Ohio. If you are a bad person in Dayton, Ohio, I hope you ran away for a few days or something because the Marshal Service was looking for you. Here you go. Marshal Service arrests 187 people in the Dayton area over a 74-day initiative. So if you're a bad person in Dayton, Ohio, oh, I hope you were in Louisiana or something at the time. I hope you were away because that's a lot of people to arrest. What is that, like 2 a day? Let's see. Actually, that's only like a couple a day. Hey, work harder. No, I'm just kidding. 187 divided by 74. Yeah, it's like I was right. It's like 2 a day. 2.5 people. 2.5. Not 3, not 2. You get a half a person every day. Then you have to catch the other half the next day. But apparently it says here it was some sort of operation or initiative. It says they arrested more than 180 people, including 6 people wanted for homicide during an apprehension initiative this summer, or what some people just call their job. Operation North Star took place over 47 operation days from May to September and targeted wanted people in 10 metro areas. The initiative focused on people who use firearms in their crimes or had high risk factors for violence, according to the U.S. Marshal Service. In Dayton, 187 people were arrested. Of those, 6 people wanted for homicide, um, people wanted for sex crimes, 12 for robbery, 36 people for aggravated assault, and 25 people for firearms violations. Investigators seized more than $5,000 and 4 firearms and nearly a half a kilogram of narcotics. So they all these people were quite poor because if you do $5,000 divided by 187 people. Each person had about $2 on them, about the same dividable facts as 187 people over 74 days. You get about $2.50, and the other one you got 2.5 people. So not a lot of money seized out of almost 200 people. Sounds like they were rounding up the poorest drug dealers you could find. They're saying here our deputies and task force operators live and work in this area. We want safer communities like all residents do. By working together, all our members of law enforcement task force made an impact on making our community safer. This is what we do every day, and we will continue to do so every day. Yeah, that's why they call you the Marshal Service, because you go and round up people who are not obliging to go to jail. Like that's the whole idea of it, right? They said other areas included in the initiative include in Dallas, North Charleston, South Carolina, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Little Rock, Arkansas, Phoenix, in St. Louis, Birmingham, Alabama, and Winston-Salem in North Carolina, and San Antonio. They're saying in total, 3,421 people were arrested, including over 200 people for homicide, 800 people for assault, and 482 people for weapons offenses. So that is a lot of homicide people. That is over 200 people were arrested in relation to homicides across these areas. That is a lot of people who are wandering around the area who may have murdered someone. That's pretty brutal. I mean, they're just hanging out, stuff like that. Juniper says, "Today is my son's 18th birthday. His name is Zane." Happy birthday, Zane, out there on your 18th birthday. I hope you're having a great day. Unfortunately, you're not old enough to drink yet, unless you're in Australia where you can, and then you can have a beer and we can go cheers. But if you're in the USA, you have a few more years to wait. I'm not frozen. You're frozen. You're a Disney movie. I am not. Maybe it's your computer. It's not me. See, I'm moving. See? See, I can go like this. Can you dance on the screen? I can. Um, yes, happy birthday to Zane. Love from mum, I'm guessing. Love from mum. Oh, he can have a beer. Oh, yeah, it's a VB time for Juniper's son. He's got to get down and get his learner's permit. No, this is a miming show. We do miming here, and what we do is we mime out true crime. That's what we do. It's called it's called Pageant Nights with Ping, and then we do a lot of mime work. You know, the guy was caught inside a house and things like that. I hope I hope our stream catches up quickly. Marjorie says, "Hey there, everyone," and Ping, hello. Yes, happy birthday to Zane. Happy birthday. Go get your driver's license and get a beer. Get a VB or some nicer beer. There it goes. Your daughter will be 42 in October. What an achievement. Does that mean you guys can have mother-daughter holidays and it won't seem odd? Because, like, you can do that when they're little kids, right? You can take your children on holidays. But when they turn, like, I don't know, 18 and have their own life, between, like, 18 and, like, 40, it's not cool to do that, and then after you turn 40, it starts becoming cool again to go on holidays with with your parents a little bit. October 7th, in a week, Marilyn's daughter will be 42. I don't know if she'll be happy that you gave out her age, but sure, we can say happy birthday to her in a week. Um, yeah, so if you were a bad person, a very bad person, 200 people included for homicide, if you were in Dallas, South Carolina, Arkansas, Birmingham, Alabama, North Carolina, and San Antonio, you had a very bad summer. There was some very bad men looking for you. Here's a photo of them. These guys, they were wearing the vests and they were knocking on doors and kicking ass and stuff like that. Laurie says, "I can't wait for my daughter to be 40. I want to spend time with her." See, it's funny how that happens, isn't it? Tia, hey my sweetheart, how are you? It's good to see you. So there's an update out of the Marshal Service. I find this interesting when they do this. It's almost like they're like, "That's it, everyone. We've arrested all the people. There are no more people. We're waiting for you." What is it like? The America's Most Wanted. When that comes back on TV, we go back to work. But for now, we got all the homicides, all of them, 216 of them. They're all done. There's a bad storm in the Gulf headed to the US. Didn't we just do that? Didn't we just do that with Helene? There's a bad storm in the Gulf? Hold on. No. Let me have a look. Let's zoom out. Uh, there's what? There's no storm in the Gulf right now. Right now, there's some thunderstorms that I can see. Here, I'll show you. There's like a few thunderstorms in the Gulf of Mexico right now. There's something down here near Nicaragua and Costa Rica and Panama. There's some sort of like tropical system or something down here. I can't see the synoptic map right now, but I don't see anything in the Gulf unless it's playing invisible thunderstorm with me. Hold on, let me look at the synoptic map. Are you sure? Let's have a look. Gulf, Texas. Yeah, Gulf of Mexico satellite view. Oh, okay. I mean, sort of. What are they saying this is? Are they issuing this as a hurricane? Let's have a look. National Hurricane Center. Tropical Storm Kirk. Is that what they're calling him? Tropical Storm Kirk. Okay. They're saying the National Hurricane Center is very busy tracking 5 potential systems in the Atlantic basin. The biggest concern is for Florida and a disturbance in the Caribbean Sea, which could become a tropical depression later this week or over the weekend, as it follows a path similar to Major Hurricane Helene, according to the latest advisory from the National Hurricane Center. Let me try and see, because they often have these things called inverse. So let's have a look. So right now they have this one. What does this say? A 10% chance of hurricane formation in 48 hours. There's Joyce over here. What is Joyce doing? Not much. Here's Kirk. He's already a hurricane. He's going up north. He's going to go way, way up north. He's going to be up in the snow near Newfoundland at some point. Who's this? Okay, so there's this one is the one they're sort of looking at. 60% chance of cyclone formation. I mean, this one looks like the one there. This is inverse 1, this is inverse 2. I think this one's got the higher rating, considering this is only a 10% chance to form. This one's over a 60%. It is way far away. This is like off the, and then you got Kirk here too. But Kirk's not going to go. It's going to go way up north. See, it's not going to come through the Caribbean and go up into the Gulf. It's going to go up through the Atlantic. Then you got Joyce over here, and then Joyce is going to just stay a tropical depression, won't form into a hurricane by the looks of it. But this one's way almost off the coast of Africa right now. Is this Africa? I think so. It's way off on another continent. Yeah, I mean, maybe we'd have to wait and see. When you really start to worry is when it starts to get around the Caribbean. When you start to get around the Caribbean and Cuba and things like that, and you start seeing generation of like a proper system, something that looks like Helene. Even though Helene was very messy over Cuba, you could see that it was going to walk into a very favorable environment for storm development, which meant lack of shear, lack of things that were going to like hurt the hurricane, and just really warm, moist ocean that it could feed off and then ramp up. And that if that happens again, I mean, sure, but we've got a bit of a while to go. Like we're looking about 7 days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, probably about 7 days before it gets to over here. So we've got a while to go. A while. Got a while to go. Yeah, you can see them all on your screen right now. Yeah, it's like, hey, Barbados, hey. Yeah, so there's a few here. So you got one that's Kirk. He's actually already a hurricane, but he's going to go north. And then you got this disturbance number two and disturbance number one. Disturbance number one, I don't really could support some gradual development of this system, and tropical depression could form over the yeah. So this one's a very low chance of forming. They're saying that any chance of formation of a hurricane is not likely for like the next week. It's very early and it's very unorganized right now. You would need to see more development, but these islands and chain islands and things, they all cause issues for hurricanes and their development. They do much better when they're out over here or inside the Gulf where they have very few restrictors to their growth. When they're over here, they don't have a lot other than other competing weather systems that they have to, deal with. When you start getting around tropical islands and countries and things like that, they all present a force against the hurricane, like when it hits land in the USA and then it downgrades. While these islands are not as big, they do cause disturbance to the air mass and the hurricane. And in turn also with the development of the hurricane. So there you go. Weather with Ping. Weather with Ping. Your nightly weather update on a true crime channel. Sorry, I'm still suffering a little bit from this stupid hay fever. Um, it's getting better, but it's still a little niggly. I still get moments where I can't, talk properly. That happens anyway. All right, let's go back to true crime. Now, we had a missing woman in Australia, and I have a very sad update for you, unfortunately. It's not a very nice update, and I don't really like doing it, but I feel like her life is, worth talking about. It says there has been a tragic outcome in the search for a young Australian woman who went missing from her home more than 3 days ago. Now, I had to look up her name because I was like, how the hell do you pronounce this? Because it's a French name. And I was like, is it Mathilde? Is it, well, it's Mathilde. So Mathilde, Mathilde. So you don't pronounce the E on the end. So it's Mathilde. That was her name. She was 26 years old and she was last seen in the Canberra suburb of Dixon on Friday, September 27th. Police asked Canberrians to be on the lookout for her, and she was described as Caucasian in appearance with a slim build and dark curly hair. They had significant concerns for her welfare, but in a tragic update Sunday night, police confirmed that the body of a woman reported missing from the nation's capital had been found in regional New South Wales. The woman was found near Wells Creek in Berrima, a small country town in the state's southern highlands, at around 11:45 a.m. on Sunday. So she traveled quite a distance. Hold on, let me grab this. A Canberra suburb of Dixon. And then let's look where regional town of Berrima. Let me see the distance between these two places. No, that didn't work. Dixon. It's actually quite a distance away. Around an hour and a half away from where she was last seen. Here, I'll show you. So, I know. Good work, Google. You don't understand Australian? Fine. It's not exactly, this is a different Dixon that's spelt phonetically, not with an X in it, but that's okay. It's roughly, maybe roughly the same thing. It's Canberra to Berrima. So she was located up here in Berrima in a national park, maybe somewhere like around here. Wait, did they give us the park? Near Wells Creek. Okay. All right, let me see if I can find out where Wells Creek is. All right, it's not showing me where the hell this creek is, but that's okay. Either way, it's a bit of a distance away. There's Berrima, and there's where she was. She was from all the way down here in Canberra, not this Dixon, a different one. Apparently, they have two. A lot of people like to have two Dixons. Um, what did you say, Ping? I didn't say anything. I said no such thing. Don't come for me. Yeah, so she was quite a distance away from where they thought she might be located. Why she drove all the way out here to what I would consider almost the Southern Highlands, or it's just South Sydney, very far south Sydney, almost Wollongong. There's Wollongong, and it's sort of west of Wollongong. So she was quite a distance away. Why she was up here, I have no idea. There's a creek, but that's not the one we're looking for. Maybe it was a suburb name. Either way, very sad. I don't know the story behind it, but it seems like she'd had a bit of a rough time. Hold on. Give me 1 second. All right, we're back. Let me check out for this other one, Dixon. Wait, hold on. Did Ping get something wrong? Maybe. No, they said the Canberra suburb of Dixon. Did they spell it wrong? I think they spelt it wrong. 2602 is the postcode. All right. I don't know if they've spelt it incorrectly, because when I spell it the way they did, Dixon, nothing comes up as a suburb of Canberra. Unless it's here. No, it comes up with the other spelling. Dickson. Okay, well then our map is correct. So she was from here and she was found all the way up here, quite a distance away, around 158 kilometers, or an hour and a half drive. What would that be? 100 and what was it? 158 Ks. 158 158 kilometers. So around 100 miles away, just shy of 100 miles. So she was quite a distance away from where they were sort of looking for her. They were asking people to look for her within Canberra, but she was ages away, and they found her Sunday morning a while away. Right, but when I looked it up, Sean, it's spelled Dickson, and when you use that spelling, Dixon, it doesn't come up. Maybe it's a quirk of Google. But either way, this is Canberra to Berrima. It doesn't matter. It's going to only add or subtract 5 or 10 minutes. Canberra's pretty small. It's not going to really mess around with our map. Basically, she went missing from Canberra and was found in Berrima. So, really doesn't matter. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what was going on in this young lady's life at the time. Here's a nice photo of her. She looks like a nice young woman, and not the outcome anyone really wanted, I don't think. Yeah, they spelt it in that spelling on Daily Mail, but hey, Daily Mail has never been, you know, the best for spelling indiscretions. Okay, that is a very sad story. I don't like reading stories like that. They said there are no there are no suspicious circumstances being considered by police. A report outlining the circumstances of the woman's death will be prepared by police for the coroner. Yeah, There you go. Tragic outcome to a young lady. I don't know what I can tell you except for wish we would have found her earlier or something like that. Marilyn says, beautiful red hair. Yeah, she does have very nice hair, right? Very pretty young lady. Wells Creek in Berrima. Sorry, I'm a little caught up on this. I want to see where Wells Creek in Berrima is. It keeps giving me a creek called Whiskey Creek. I don't know why, but every time I search it, it goes, here's a creek called Whiskey Creek. There must be some tiny creek that's not on the map or something. Damn Google. Come on. Map Australia better. By the way, we tried to purchase some photos last week of a property, to do like a backtrack over it. I got a refund to my freaking credit card. They didn't give me the photos. I don't know why, if they don't have them or can't get them, but they just gave me a refund. So we're not getting them apparently. Marjorie says her name would be pronounced Mathilde. That's what I said. Didn't I say Mathilde? I looked it up. I promise. I looked it up before we. Ping tries to research every name that I can't pronounce most of the time, unless someone sends me a story and I haven't had time to look through it. I try and research names that I can't pronounce or haven't seen before because I try and be as professional as I can. Now, to prove to you that I did, I'm going to show you. I looked this video up and this video said this is how you pronounce it.
Mathilde. Mathilde.
Mathilde. There you go. Mathilde. TJ says all dictionary and grammar book editors consult the Daily Mail for proper spelling and grammar, and of course, social etiquette. I mean, that's a real thing. Hey, Patty L, how are you, my friend? Mathilde. Well, very sad to hear of her demise. I don't think that's uh, I'd like to know why she felt that was the only option, and that's very, very sad. You know, is there nothing anyone could have done? Is there no no light at the end of the tunnel someone could have given her? I find that very sad. Yeah, I said it could be that because that's what the stupid video said. Oh, no, no, at the start, yeah, originally that's how I thought you might pronounce it, but then I watched this video and I was like, that's how you pronounce it. It's Mathilde. Yeah, I can't use that word, but yes, seems so. It seems that she unalived herself. I hate that word. I hate Logan Paul for making us use that word for forever on YouTube because of the dumb crap that he did in Japan. Now we all have to say stupid words on YouTube because he is a dumbass and has no social friggin' etiquette boundaries, any type of decorum, nothing. He was born without that part of his brain, apparently. All right. All right. By the way, I tried to look up some information about the man that was found dead in Long Island that we talked about last night. There has been no update on the man's body who was found in the home at 3 a.m. in the morning. Nothing so far, but they did arrest someone over the woman who was stabbed outside of a restaurant and she died in hospital. They have now arrested someone about that one, and I will show that to you in a second. It's here. Come on, News Long Island. Yeah. And that was West Hampstead in Long Island. But they have arrested, where is it? News 12, you're being a pain today. Hold on, guys. Yeah.
Arrest tonight after a woman was fatally stabbed outside of a popular West Hempstead restaurant. We're also learning more about the victim. News 12's crime reporter Krista McNally has new details.
Police announcing late Monday afternoon that 27-year-old Eric Efren Corrado Gonzalez was arrested for the fatal stabbing outside of La Candela in West Hempstead. Police also confirming the identity of the woman as Anna Ruth Espinoza.
A person like that, she deserves to live because she is a model. She is a role model.
Espinoza was stabbed multiple times, according to police, just after midnight on Sunday, leaving the community shaken.
She said that she heard screaming, like a blood-curdling scream of a lady saying, "Mom, don't die."
Espinoza died from her injuries at a nearby hospital. Her former landlord was shocked.
I am so sorry, and I convey my warmest and sincerest feeling for the entire family.
The owners of La Candela, too, who did not want to speak on camera, tell News 12 that the victim was a regular at their restaurant and at the time of the attack was leaving with her family. This stabbing happened in the back parking lot, and a 50-year-old man also had a laceration in his hand. Gonzalez, who is from Glen Cove, was arrested in Linden, New Jersey on Sunday.
A crime? No. Oh, no. It's very upsetting to all of us.
I cannot believe it, but that happened. Yeah, anywhere.
In West Hempstead, Krista McNally, News 12 Long Island.
And Gonzalez will be extradited back to New York for his arraignment, and police have not said if this is a targeted incident or not.
There we go. So they have now arrested someone over Espinoza's murder. And what a weird thing, right? Leaving a restaurant to be attacked and stabbed. It's pretty odd. Yeah, a lot of stabbings and shootings. I don't know why either. Let me pull up something else about Espinoza. Hold on. All right, let me see if I can find anything else about this young woman's demise. We've had a lot of. I just feel like we could just rename most of true crime to like how young women are killed and how we'll never prevent it. Like that should just be what true crime is called, because that's basically all we ever read about. Like we get the occasional male, but it's not that often, and the majority are female deaths, unfortunately. So the guy they arrested is 27 years old. His name is Eric Efren Corrado Gonzalez, 27, and yeah, the person who was killed was 51 years old. Her name was Anne Ruth Espinoza of Glen Cove. Was stabbed multiple times in the back when she went to the La Candela restaurant in Hampstead Turnpike early Sunday, and she later died from her injuries in hospital. A 50-year-old man was also stabbed in the incident, but he has since been treated and released, and he is okay. But I'm guessing that's his wife, Anna. So that man has to leave hospital after a traumatic incident and go home to an empty home. How sad. He doesn't go home to his wife. He goes home after being stabbed to nothing. I think that it would be a very hard life to have to reconcile your head with. You went out to dinner, you had a lovely wife, you came home, you no longer have a wife. That would be an extremely hard turnaround for anyone, I think. I feel very, I don't even know how you deal with that. I think it'd be very hard. I hope he has a lot of family and community to help him because he's going to need it. All right. All right. We have more stories. People asking about Austin King. I have nothing. I have no new information about Austin. Nothing. No update. Nothing new. They have. Ah, come on. All right. All right. All right. All right. Yes, it was. It was a delivery. Sorry. They're really impatient. They just buzz my friggin' intercom. They're like, can you guys hear it? It's like the most loudest noise. That's why I was like, all right. Because it's ear piercing. It's so stupid loud. Yeah, delivery, because it's like 11 a.m. in the morning, which means that's what time the posties come. All right. The mothership is contacting. That's exactly what it sounds like when that buzzer goes off. Yeah. Sorry about that. Not much we can do, but hey, next month for me, the show moves 1 hour back. So instead of being 11 a.m., it'll be midday, which I'm very thankful for because I'm so glad we're done with early morning shows. I did the entire 6 months of doing this at 11 a.m. And then in a month after that, you guys come off daylight savings in November, right? So I'll go forward again by another hour. So my first show of the day will be at 1 p.m. and then Trish is on at like 2:30 or something. It's going to be freaking glorious. I can't wait to go back to afternoon shows. It's going to be great. I'm very much looking forward to it and not having to wake up so early and then get straight on the air because it is very annoying. But hey, we did it. We did it. I don't think I missed many shows either. We did the entire 6 months. And we'll be back. We'll be back to afternoon shows again for the Australian summer. So I am freaking happy about that. Can't wait. It'll be good. All right, we have 2 other stories. Yeah, well, we have heaps of stories. We're only like 38 minutes in. All right, I have this one, and then we're going to do some more news about Dominique P. So if you remember Dominique, we're going to do more about that. But this first one out of the UK, check this out. I came across this in my travels through true crime every day. I came across this story. Where is it? I have too many tabs open. Here. A murder investigation launched. Man 24 killed in triple stabbing incident in Clapham, wherever that is. They're saying a murder investigation has been launched after a triple stabbing killed 1 man and hospitalized 2 others in the early hours of yesterday morning. Police were called around 4 a.m. to reports of a large group fighting with knives in Wandsworth Road, Clapham. They said, or Clapham, if you want to do the EN at the end. They saying officers and the London Ambulance Service found 3 people suffering from stab wound injuries. Despite their best efforts of emergency services, a 24-year-old man was pronounced dead at the scene. That's okay. Officers have informed the person's next of kin, who are being supported by specialist officers. Formal identification has not yet taken place, and a post-mortem examination will be held in due course. The 2 other victims, both aged in their 20s, were taken to hospital for treatment. One remains in hospital with serious injuries, and the other was treated for injuries that were not deemed to be life-threatening. Police are appealing to the public for any information, CCTV or dashcam footage which may aid in their investigation. So 3 people, maybe more, at 4 a.m. in the morning were fighting with knives in a road in Clapham. Why? Like, what the hell were they doing at a Sunday morning at 4 a.m. in the morning having a gang fight? Because that's what it sounds like. It sounds like a gang fight. Like, that's exactly what it like. I don't know any other way to describe it. It is strange. Why the hell would you be hanging around at 4 a.m. in the morning? Here's the incident scene right here. You can see it looks like it happened near this set of lights here. It looks like a main road. You got Ladbrokes, and which is a gambling place, and other shops, and this looks like a high street. Let me see if I can find a map of this place. What's it called? Clapham. Wandsworth Road in Clapham. All right, let's have a look. Oh, they call it the A33036 or Wandsworth Road. Hey, look, a UK bus. Where's that set of lights? Let's have a look. Down here? No, it must be up here. Well, what are we looking for? Ladbrokes, right? There's Wandsworth Road Tube Station. I don't see that set of lights that we were just having. We're looking for a Ladbrokes on the corner because that's what we saw. Down here maybe? It's a pretty long road. I don't see it. Hang on. Maybe we can see a crossroad from here. What does that say? No, I can't make it out. Let's see if we got a road here. Near the junction of Lavender Hill. Okay. Lavender Hill. All right. Where's Lavender Hill? Lavender Walk? Is that right? No. Something Garden, Kenneth Street. The A something other. What is it? Lavender Hill. Let's see if we have it. We had a lavender something else. Maybe this is another spelling mistake by people. I don't see that Lavender Street. Oh, I saw something pop up. Okay, no, I don't see it, but anyway. Lansdowne Way, nope. Albion, that's not it. Roselle, nope. Silverthorne, nope. The only one I've seen is the one that was up here. I probably missed it, and you guys are all saying, it's there, Ping, it's right there. We all saw it. Why didn't you see it? The only one I can find is that Lavender Walk, which is right here. I don't know why there's not a... You would think there'd be an accompanying road that would be nearby. Like, that's why that one's called Lavender, because there's another one nearby. Or whatever. Maybe it's around here somewhere. The Falcon, whatever that is. Anyway, this is the area where the stabbing happened. Like, I don't know what you'd be doing here. It does look like a Lavender Hill police station. Okay. Lavender Hill Magistrates Court. So we're in Lavender Hill, apparently. I don't know. Like, it looks pretty residential, though. Look. You got all these bloody houses. Look at this. The back half of it, away from the main road, is just all housing. Lavender Gardens, right there. That was the crossroad, right? No. Or it was Ping going to the exact same road we're on before. Group fighting with knives. Yep, we know that. Whatever. It doesn't matter. I just showed you the area. Here we go. Murder investigation. It really does sound like a gang thing or use being stupid. A junction with the Lavender Hill in Lambeth. Lavender Hill in Lambeth. Okay. Okay, so that is that point, but okay. At the junction. There's a police station like right there and a magistrate's court. They didn't have to go far after committing a crime. They can walk straight to the police station and then to the courthouse. Patty says, I can't drive at night, so don't go out. Well, don't get into any stabbings at 4 a.m. in the morning then. You know, you'll be fine. All right. Thank you, Woos. Woos says there's only one Dixon, and that's how it's spelled. Well, yeah, Daily Mail. Check your spelling, mother effers. Crap spelling. DJ says, oh, okay. Thank you. I will look at that one in a second, buddy. There we go. Gang. I reckon it's a gang fight. Or not a gang fight, but like a youth indiscretion and disagreement is what they'd probably call it in court in the UK. They'd say these youths had a personal confrontation and produced bladed articles in a means of rectifying and resolving their youthful argument. There you go. But anyway, that's the scene. I just don't know what you'd be doing hanging around here at 4 a.m. And then I think back to when I was that age, and I was like, I used to hang around stupid places at 4 a.m. in the morning. And then I say, don't be such an old man, Ping. Why aren't you cool anymore? Patty says I can't drive at night. Marjorie says you tell him, Ping. Yeah, the guy who can't pronounce anything. Yeah, you tell him how to say stuff. Rue says, when we go on daylight savings, we will be 15 hours ahead of the US East Coast, and I think 16 hours ahead of you. Yeah, I can't wait. I'm so happy to be back off nighttime, morning ones. It doesn't move for you, it only moves for me, because the show will always be at 9 p.m. Eastern. It only moves for me. So throughout the year, when the time zones change, it moves for me because you're a static point. You're a static point. So 9 p.m. Eastern doesn't change. It's just 9 p.m. Eastern. So if I tell you the show is on 9 p.m. Eastern every night, that's what time it's on. It just moves for me. There you go. Hope that helps. Shell Huffman, oh my God. Talk about a blast from the past, my sweet friend. How are you? I have been thinking about you for many months. I was like, I hope Shell's okay. I haven't seen her in a while. Hope she's doing okay. How are you, my friend? I hope you're doing better. I want to talk to you about this. Mr. DJ sent me something. What is this? Let's do this one for Mr. DJ. Then we're going to do some stuff on Dominique P. So if you remember that case, charged with murder, but his his other crime is allowing over 50 men to come in and assault his wife while she was incapacitated. Pretty awful crime. DJ sent me this. Autopsy reveals cause of death for Air Force Army cadet. Oh, what a cute lady. What's her name? Avery Kuntz, 19, of Taylor, Texas, died on the Air Force Academy campus September 4th, 2024. She was born September 1st, 2005. So she was a real young lady. She died from an infection. How sad. Very, very sad. Wow. I wish they would have picked it up quicker for her. Yeah. Hey, how are you? Good to see you. Let's see. All right. Let's talk about. Thanks for sending it to me, DJ. It's sad that that's what they found was her cause of death. How horrible. All right. Pretty young to be passing away. Okay, Glenn Clove note. We've done that one. All right. Let's talk about Dominique P. Let's talk about Dominique, if I can find it. But the trial is ongoing, I'm pretty sure. Dominique. So we actually dug back into the history for this particular case, but the main one is the one that most people know about, is the one with his wife. It's this particular one. They're saying he faces charges. The man accused of drugging his wife and letting dozens this word her. They're saying Dominic P., who is appearing in court for having drugged his wife repeatedly and let 51 men this word her, is also under investigation for a murder preceded by this investigation and an attempted word with a weapon committed in the Paris region in the 1990s. Now, if I remember, the victim in the 1990s, his name's Sophia, and there was another real estate agent called Estella, and she was the one who Estella B is the one who made it out. She was showing an apartment to Dominique. They say he put a cloth over her face to try and knock her out, but something happened to the point where it didn't knock her out. She was able to struggle through it, come back to consciousness, and fight him off. So I don't believe she was fully. Hold on, let me just double check that. And yeah, it was an attempted. He didn't actually get to do what he wanted to do, but this gave them the clues to find out who killed the second real estate agent, where he did succeed. He succeeded in strangling her and then murdering her in the apartment and leaving her body there for others to find later after he had had his way with her. So yeah, so it says here in Marseille, in October 2022, Dominic P. was confronted by investigators from the Criminal Investigative Department. During a second interrogation, the police pointed out that his DNA had been found on one of the victim's shoes and on the carpet of the apartment, but he persisted in denying it. He said, "I'm going to tell you the truth." He announced at the very start of a third interrogation, in relation to this young woman who must have grown up and is wondering, "That's me." So he said, "Oh, yeah, that's me." He says Dominic P., who was 46 at the time, said he had an impulse when he passed the estate agency where Estella worked, but he did not agree that it was attempted R-word. "What would have happened if she hadn't gotten free?" they asked him. "I don't know," he said. "Well, you were well on your way to R-wording her." And he says, "Well, I can't tell you what would have happened." I think we know what happened, based on your second victim, who was, essayed and then murdered. Now, if I can find it, I'm pretty sure the other lady's name is Sophia. Yeah, yeah, yes? Is Ping going crazy? So I'm just trying to find this little section here where it talks about it. Sophia. I think it should be Sophia Nam, or I'm probably saying that wrong in my French. Yes, okay. I really wish I had a photo of her, but I don't think I do. Sorry, these links are taking forever tonight. Let's see if this is a photo of her. Yes, it is. So here's a photo of Sophie. She was an estate agent who was murdered after she agreed to meet a man for a flat viewing in 1999. And the MO was so similar to the attempted R-word, and the DNA matched this one to the attempted one. He left some DNA behind in the attempted one, and they were able to track it back to Dominique P., solving her murder, who they actually thought for a period of time, they thought she was actually the victim of a different killer. There was another killer who targeted on young women in the same area, who was actually a policeman. He was a policeman for a very long time, and he was they knew it was him with a bunch of different other cases, and many years later they figured it out that it was him, and the women had trusted him because he was a police officer. When they confronted him about it and said, "Hey, you should come in for an informal, very informal, come in for a chat, and we might take a DNA sample." Why do you want to do? Oh, don't worry about that. It's just a formality. Come in next Wednesday. Come in, give us a chat, have a DNA sample. We'll give you a coffee and some biscuits. It'll be great. The next day, he killed himself. So he left this world unalived and left a note basically trying to explain his actions. And for a period of time, they thought she was a victim of his, but she's actually not. She's a victim of Dominique P. So they believe there was two guys operating around the same time in the same area, very similar to what happened in Long Island. Long Island, you had two serial killers operating around the same time frame with a very similar MO. And this proves that it can happen because, well, one, we know it can happen because of Long Island, but it just shows you that it's not that uncommon because while there are ways of going about it were slightly different, the acts and the things done to the women were very similar. So the way of they did it was slightly different. Dominic posed as a client for the apartments. The other guy was a police officer. We're both trying to gain the trust of these women, but the end results were very, very similar. The women ended up dead, strangled, and essayed. But yeah, there's Sophie. Let me see if I can find anything else because there was another article about her, and then I will talk about what Peekaboo Cockatiel sent me about Dominique. I don't know why we have to say Dominic P, but apparently we do. Let's see. Yeah, was it Francois Verove? He was the other guy. This was the other guy that they thought might have been responsible for Sophie's murder. And then he ended up ending his own life. Here, during an autopsy, determined that they said here that he ended up dying from overdosing on alcohol and barbiturates on September 29th, 2021. So actually not that different from Dominic P either, because he was caught in the last few years as well. So it sounds like French authorities had been trying to chase up some of these um, outstanding cold cases from the last 30 years, and they got really close to solving, well, they did solve two of them that were sort of interlinked in a way. Well, they weren't really, but people thought this guy killed the other woman and some people thought that guy killed the other one, but ended up they had very two different timelines. uh there was a note this guy left, if I can find it. Let me see if I can find the note, because he left a note. I think I've read it on the channel before. Let's see. Okay, yeah, killer's body found in a rental flat. They said here there's a old sketch of one of the suspects gave to police. They said the cold case was finally cracked when an investigative magistrate recently decided to send letters to 750 gendarmes, so they're military police, stationed in the Paris region at the time. A 59-year-old man found dead had been a military police before becoming a police officer and later retiring. He was summoned by police on the 24th of September to give a DNA sample. 5 days later, his wife reported him missing on September 27. His body was discovered in a rented flat on the Mediterranean coast along with a unalive note. Prosecutors say his DNA matched evidence found at the scene of several crimes. The contents of the letter have not been confirmed, but a French report says he confessed to experiencing previous impulses while saying he had since got himself together. Oh, so that just wipes it all out, does it? But I'm a better person now. Well, what about the people you killed? Well, it doesn't matter. I'm a better person. That's not the way it works, you know. It's not the way it works. He apparently admitted to the murders without detailing the victims or the circumstances surrounding them. Very interesting that he uses this type of impulses this is the same word that Dominique P uses quite frequently in his defenses, saying that he had impulses too, impulses to confine 2 real estate workers and kill at least one of them, and then invite 50 men into his home and essay his wife for a number of years. Not impulses, more like crimes. You shouldn't say I had impulses. You should be like, I had visions of myself doing many bad crimes. It's a longer way of saying it, but I think it describes it better. Yeah. So there you go. That was one of the ones they thought was actually supposed to be Sophie's murder, but it's not. It's Dominic P. Let's go back here. I want to do this one that Peekaboo sent me. Where'd your email, my friend? Da da da. All right. All right, we're gonna have to do some trickery here. How can I do this? Go like this. Translations built in. Okay, thank you for that. All right. Sorry, we have to translate into English. This is not English. Google, what are you doing to me? Here, I'll show it to you. It says, yes, this is English. Not sure about that. I don't believe this is English. This also looks like, is it French or is it Señores como todo? Is this Spanish? It almost looks like Spanish to me, but I don't speak either language, so it could be German as far as I'm concerned. Why won't this translate? Why won't this translate for me? I don't know. Yeah, I'll find a different source for it, and then we'll go from there. Yeah, translate the page. What? Yeah, gentlemen, just like everyone else, what the R-worders got into Giselle's bed are like. While the majority do not have mental illness and have a stable job, a minority had a childhood marked by physical and sexual violence. And this is from The Nation, and they're saying, yeah, are the R-worders monsters, or are they just ordinary men like everyone else? That is the question that has traumatized France since the 2nd of September, when the trial of 50 men accused of the crime against Giselle, unconscious after being drugged by her husband, who was offering her up on the internet, began. They said every morning these 50 plus 1, as feminist associations call them, added the victim's husband and executioner, Dominique, also a R-wordist, and the main person responsible for the horror, quickly climbed the steps of the Palace of Justice in the City of the Popes, trying to pass through the security gate without being recognized and enter the trial. And apparently they shout things at him like, don't you even think about coming near you? Go to hell, they shout, their faces covered by a hood or surgical mask. They say each of those 50 who did the crime against Giselle, the number is dizzying and nauseating, because how is it possible that ordinary men, or almost all of them living in the Mazan region, how could they have found it exciting to abuse a woman who was obviously unconscious? They say they are aged between 26 and 74. They are pensioners, plumbers, electricians, bakers, truck drivers. There is a journalist, a barman, a fireman, and even a prison guard. They are family men, curious libertines, or confirmed bachelors. They are big, small, athletic, fat, bold, or with a lot of hair. They are seemingly ordinary individuals. Some are in custody, others at liberty, but each has become, during these 3 weeks of trial that is due to last until the 2nd of December, the faces of R word in France, a sort of proof that our worders can be anyone, our friends, our neighbors, our lovers, our brothers, our parents, and this is a shock that is almost impossible to bear. I find this interesting that they came from such a wide variety of people. But I think if the one thing that true crime has taught us in covering these stories and seeing the people who end up being arrested for all these different crimes is that 99% of the time, it's not the guy who looks like, a PDF file or whatever, or looks like a murderer, or who has the crazy eyes. It's literally the normal guy who lives next door. And that's the thing that they try and tell you. It's not the guy you think you should be scared of. It's the one that you would trust. And they're the ones who are dangerous. The ones you can see that might be a threat, they're not the dangerous ones because you can see the danger. It's the ones who can gain your trust and then get through your defenses. They're the ones who are truly dangerous. Um, they're saying the tension was very great during the first days of the trial between the public who had come to watch the live broadcast of the proceedings and the men who were often insulted and crossed in the building, that the president of the court decided to require the presence in court of only those co-defendants who must give evidence, and he excused the rest of them so they didn't have to attend and be abused. At the same time, small signs appeared in various places in the courthouse reading, "You are in a judicial space. We would be grateful if you would adapt your behavior to the serenity of the debates." What does that mean? I think that means don't be a jerk in a courthouse. We're trying to do justice and law type stuff here. You know, find your decorum. They're saying here, for their part, convinced that they are victims of a media lynching, Giselle's accused have formed what some call a boys' club. They exchange impressions, call each other by name, and even go out for coffee together at a bar during the suspension of the hearing. That sounds very strange, but at the same time, in another part of my mind, it doesn't, because they are being so isolated right now that they really only have each other. Yes, they are pretty horrible people. Yes, if convicted, they are accused of one of the most heinous crimes I think a lot of us have ever heard of. Um, but them going out for coffee and trying to find some human connection or trust, even just compassion, is not abnormal. It's a human desire that I think a lot of people have, even people who do stupid, horrible, disgusting crimes like this. I don't think that's that abnormal, but they say here, for Beatrice Zavaro, Dominique's lawyer, who was in the lost stepped room of the court, most of these defendants are good family men, gentlemen like everyone. I don't think any gentlemen go and have sex with someone's wife who is unconscious from medication. I don't think that's a good thing. I don't think that's a gentlemanly type act. They're saying here the whole case shows that they have a smooth side and a dark side, kind of like a Malteser. The real debate beyond chemical submission, who's chemical submissioning, is how did men from all walks of life, ordinary citizens, end up in her bed, in Giselle's bed? And then why even those who claim to have been disturbed by the woman's condition decide to stay? I think that's a good point. If we saw, I know it's a horrible crime, and I'm trying to say it as softly as I can. That's why I'm changing words. Uh, you're a young man, and you see, or even not even they're like 26 to 74. So you are a man, and you see an advertisement on the internet, and it says, "Hey, we're like swingers," and what do they call those people that like to watch their wives have sex or whatever, like cucking or whatever. I don't know what the word is. Don't laugh at Ping because I don't like that stuff. Um, imagine like that's something you find attractive. But hey, we're not yucking anyone's yum here. Uh, that's something you find attractive, sure. That listen to Rihanna's S&M and you'll hear worse. Um, you go, okay, well, I've sort of been looking for this type of sexual experience, and then you arrive at the property, and you're like, okay, well, I'm a little nervous. I'm about to go into a room, bang a guy's wife while he's watching, and he's probably going to have his pineapple in his hand. This is going to be a very odd experience for me. And I would like to think you would want a willing participant in the woman. If there's one bit of salvation you have in this situation, it's that you have a willing participant in the woman. She's like the one who can keep the husband away from you, right? Like the fact that she was passed out and people knew, like she was away with the fairies, like she was stone cold out like a light. Like they there was guys that went there that thought she was dead. Like for real, there were people who went there that thought that the man had killed his wife and that he was some sort of necrophile or something. Um, she was just knocked out, but some people thought she was dead. That's how out she was. And they said here, but could the defendants, where the events took place over a period of 10 years, really be men like any others? Are they representative of French society and probably broader society in other countries? Their profiles have been studied by judicial experts and personality specialists and psychiatrists. And analysis of these findings provides some lessons and reveals certain paradoxes. While the majority of the accused, 40%, appear to be good parents, a significant proportion, 26, suffered serious abuse in childhood, and 25 of the 50 have a police record, while another 20 have addictions and borderline personalities. Interesting. There's a sketch from court. There's Giselle and Dominique, I think. Is that him? Maybe. They say the childhood of 13 of the accused was marked by physical and sexual violence. They say John Pierre, a warehouse worker, and the only one who has been brought to trial for having drugged. Wait, for having drugged and what? The wording here is not 100%. The only one who has been brought to trial for having drugged and R-worded his wife by Dominic P. Okay, was raised by an extremely violent peasant father, described as sexually obsessed and bestial. He beat his children, tied them to trees, and organized orgies in his home, in which he made them participate. It's just someone get the cattle pole thing. We need it right now. Like in No Country for Old Men, that gas cylinder air thing. We need those. They're saying apparently he frequently saw his mother, an alcoholic, being handed over and subjected to other men by his father. So are they trying to say it's generational? There is also a terrible case of Jacques C., a 73-year-old defendant raised with whippings and belt blows by a brutal father whose mother also mistreated him. On another note, there is a young man who grew up in Guyana, and that's probably the wrong word, swept up in gang violence and stabbed when he was barely a preteen. But how do you reconcile these pasts of these people and then say it's okay for the crimes that they've committed to other people, not on themselves? That is the paradox right there. Because I don't think that there's any excuse that you can. We know that people who are hurt as children, especially violence or sexually, they often go on to perpetrate those crimes against other people because that's all they know. And it's a way for them to feel control over their own abuse by doing it to other people. So I get that, but it doesn't excuse them of the crimes because it's still a crime. They're saying here child sexual violence is omnipresent. One of the accused was R-worded at the age of 11 in New Caledonia. When he was then forced into prostitution, another was forced to perform fellatio on a man when he was just 10 years old. All these sufferings reveal something, that the abused becomes an abuser, but they do not explain everything. No, they don't. Because at the center of these terrible experiences, another 14 defendants recall a magnificent childhood in a protective and loving families. They're saying Ahmed T, for example, owner of a plumbing company, grew up in a close-knit family with 5 siblings, pampered by the parents. He said, "We never lacked anything." He confessed during the personality test, pointing out that he had received a lot of love and tolerance. In a relationship with the same woman for 30 years, he had 3 daughters who, understandably, had been shocked by the acts of which he is accused. And they're saying model citizens responsible, married very young. These men are appreciated by their families and acquaintances. If their sexual lives are sometimes tinged with frustration, deficiencies, and differences in libido, they all respond to their inclinations with partner swapping or homosexual attraction with extramarital relations. Okay. I don't know if I'm going to be swapping any of my female sex for homosexual relations if I don't get enough, but sure, if that's what the study says. They say another group of 16 defendants, on the other hand, reveal the profile of the typical bachelor who has a multitude of companies and experiences. Only one confesses to sadomasochistic inclinations, while a handful show a particular taste for sexual relations with transvestites. Do we use that word anymore? In very rare cases, the practices reveal serious deviations. They say Romaine V, who has been living with AIDS since 2004, raped Giselle 6 times between 2019 and 2020 without using protection. Ugh. That's why she had the HIV test, because that's why. Now we know. Having suffered beatings and abuse in his own childhood, he claims that through self-control, he is able to avoid transmitting the disease. What? I don't think that's a real thing. I think if you take the medication or whatever, and then they've got that medication now in the last 20 years where if you take it, it can make you test negative. I think it means you still have it, but it's sort of like depressed. It's sort of like a depressant of the AIDS or HIV or whichever one it is. I know they can take that medication now. They said here, in 28 of the 50 cases, the experts did not find any mental pathologies. I often don't find mental pathologies in people. They were normal people according to psychologist criteria. Another 20 have addictive and borderline profiles. 5 are alcoholics, 2 use cocaine, 4 consult pedopornographic sites, and 1 uses zoophilia images. Man, this video is really going to get deranked after all these bad words. Many are depressed. 1 is autistic, and another is this word meaning wanting to unalive. But the largest group is that of socially integrated employees. They are essentially workers and craftsmen. Of the 50 accused, 39 have a stable job and earn around 2,000 euros a month, while their criminal records are a blank page. And when there is any mention, it's usually for traffic violations. So they're saying they're upstanding members of society. In short, there is no such thing as a typical R-wordist personality. According to a sociologist specializing in sexual violence, the first serious studies in the early 2000s showed that female victims of R-word came from all social classes. There you go. However, when one looks at the cases handled by the courts, one sees an overrepresentation of the popular strata and underrepresentation of the well-off classes. But this does not reflect reality. She says, in her opinion, it affects such different realities that it would be more appropriate to establish a classification by type of R-word rather than by type of perpetrator. Yeah, like one is particular violence or something, and one is there's other types. We can all think of a few. They say for the psychiatrist in the trial represents a very particular case. I'm sure it does. There's Giselle. They're saying because it is no longer a question of R-wording a drunk woman, but rather the victim's unconsciousness has been organized. In my opinion, this type of R-wordist does not think about anything. He does not reflect. His sexuality is primitive, made up of tension and discharge. He explains in any case for the common R-word is someone who thinks that his desire has the force of law and for that reason is capable of total absence of empathy for the victim. In most cases, the offender also believes that the victim consents, even when there is no single element that justifies it. The specialist designates this moment as a form of blindness. The offender thinks that he is in a relationship of power, and he believes that if the other person does not show signs of participating in the relationship of power, it is necessarily because he has given his consent. Okay. I think it's a very interesting study, and it does explain a few things, but it also leaves us with almost in a way. And if you want to take anything from this awful crime perpetrated against this what is being demonstrated to be a loving and faithful wife, never done anything in her entire marriage or lifetime to ever step out of line. She's never looked at any sort of sex outside of marriage or anything like that. All she's done is be a lovely wife to her husband, even after she went through all these health issues that were done by her husband and his acts against her. Um, I think what it shows you, this is almost like its own study into sex crimes because it's such a large sample size of over 50 people in the one crime. That doesn't happen very often, not that we know of anyway. And to have such a large swath of people, you can really see the societal breakdowns between the different types of people, which they tried to demonstrate in this article. Like some are bakers and some are tradesperson, but some work in offices, some are married for 30 years, some are addicts, some are not. It shows you that it doesn't matter where in life you are, how old you are, how attractive you are, what you look like, you could be involved in something like this. It doesn't matter how kind the person is, how smart they are, or how lovely to women they are. It doesn't matter. So they come from all sides of life. The crocodile guy story is, yeah, no, I don't know if we'll do that. That guy reminds me of Sean. Do you remember there was a guy a few months ago? They called him the Beastmaster or something like that, and he got done for the B word that we can't say on here, but it means a human involved with an animal. And he was like the largest prolific maker of B word footage in the world. And he was from Australia. And they arrested him. And what he would do is he would take animals from like Craigslist and then use them in his B word footage. So like that case, the crocodile one sort of reminds me of that guy, and I don't really. It's pretty awful. Hugny says, "I hope psychologists can gain something from this." You know, I think if there is any silver lining in this, it just shows you how wide of a swath of that a lot of men don't care about women's personal boundaries, consent, even though consent's only been like a bigger deal. It's always been a big deal, but it's been like a more public spotlight on it in the last decade or so. It just shows you how many men out there think of women as objects for their own gratification rather than a partnership of two sides doing the thing. And I think it's scary even as a male to hear of how many men would rather treat a woman like a sex toy rather than a willing participant. And I think that is what I take from it is there's a lot of men out there that just I don't know what they see women as, but it's not a human and it's not an equal and it's not a partner. It's something else. I don't even know what it is, but it's something. 4 minutes till Trish. Well, she can wait. I haven't got off my soapbox yet. I'm still on my soapbox. I have 500 words left. No. All right, we can go. We can go. We can go. How long we got? 3 minutes. Trish, you're going to be late by about 2 minutes, all right? She'll be fine. She'll be fine. Sorry, that last story was a little long, but very interesting from Peekaboo Cockatiel. I appreciate it. Sorry about the juddering in some of that. I had to replace some words that didn't make sense in English to English words that would make more sense. All right. Let's get out of here. I'm just double checking everything before we get out of here. Hey, I love you all very much. I have the greatest group of people that watch this channel in the world. The only thing I wish for is success on YouTube. I don't ask for nothing from anyone. And that's all I hope is that this channel eventually becomes bigger. So if you are able to help in any way do that, I would appreciate it. Brenda says, please stay on your soapbox ping. I will. We'll be back at midnight, I promise. We'll be back on midnight for more soapbox antics. But yeah, very interesting story. It's very sad. Yeah, anyway, something to think about. I'll leave that article in the comments under this video. If you'd like to read the entire thing yourself, you can. And maybe leave a comment and tell me what you think about it. Thanks to Peekaboo Cockatiel for sending that in. Thanks to some other people like DJ for the story about the Air Force cadet. How very sad that she died from a severe infection and didn't know about it and collapsed at the campus. That's terrible for such a young lady. And thanks to Moonlight View and for telling me about the wrong time. And thanks to Kathy Lynch for telling me. Yeah, Kathy, I'll do that one for midnight. All right, my friend. And that's it. I'll see you guys at midnight. Hey, if you guys would like to support this channel, the links are under this video. I would appreciate it. And I will see you at midnight. Bye. 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 Bye.